This is the Food Forest, Part 2. I'm Grant Wallace. Welcome to the permaculture portion of our apothecary's channel. We had a great time on our first video showing you the food-producing food forest. And today we're going to expound on that. Just right here, I noticed a bit of rose mint, one of my most favorite agastache. Let's give it a taste and enjoy the blessings that God rains down upon us through nature's beauty. You know, it reminds me of Korean hyssop in a way. A bit fruitier. Let's see the green. Some bitterness, some spice. It's crazy. It's like a hummingbird cress. I'm renaming this. Hummingbird cress. Just kidding. Just right next to it, we've got some bee balm, some straw flowers growing here. This is OG hyssop, Hyssop originalis, old world herb, known for bathing. It was in the Bible. They said, throw a sprig of hyssop in that bath, young lady. You need it. You stink. Him or her. Right next to that, we've got pennyroyal. Pennyroyal is it's used in confectionaries and things like that now. You know, pennyroyal tea, the famous Nirvana song. It's been known to induce abortions, for instance. It's a really rounded out mint flavor. You know, if flavor had a shape, this flavor would be a sphere. A sphere. So I'm not afraid to say that. You can also dry this out and do some wicked smudging with this thing. Next to that, a bit of cilantro. Behind me, some more straw flowers. Got a bit of lemon balm right here. You know, we love to dry out a ton of lemon balm and use them in our teas. For instance, it's in the tea blend kit, which is available on our website, our-apothecary.com. You just got to hit that apothecary tab, and we do nationwide shipping through that website. If you're in the Atlanta area, you could also hit the local produce tab, and that'll show you everything that I've got fresh that I deliver on Fridays in the metro Atlanta area. We've got a bit of Korean hyssop right here, which is a perennial. It's got that menthol hyssop kind of flavor, a tiny bit of anise, but mainly you're getting hit with some cool bitter mint flavors. And then anise hyssop behind us. And what's cool is when we gather the seeds on these, we get a lot of crosses, so we get some crazy, you know, more anise forward Korean hyssops. Got some little perennial ornamental cabbages right here. So we just keep cutting these, and it's turning into a dadgum bush. Okay, it's getting crazy, and they're real pretty, and they're real fun to cook with. We've got a bit of chocolate mint growing in this area, and then back here we've got red buds and eucalyptus. It's a random black walnut growing in here. We got a lot of random black walnuts in the food forest. And I'll let them grow a bit, and then I'll probably pull this one out while it goes dormant and then move it somewhere else, probably in the produce field, kind of on some of the hedge areas or something like that. You know, I'm interested in growing trees as well. And this is our row of red buds. You can get these bare root very cheaply from forestry services and tree websites, your county extension agents. I got this because it's a super fast grower, and it puts out wonderful pink blooms. So we're waiting to see those for the first time. And then behind me we've got our row of eucalyptus. It's my first time growing eucalyptus. We've been cutting off of it a lot this year to make our herbal bouquets. We'll see if it overwinters or not. We've got a little bit of a mint medley happening in this area. So there's some pineapple mint growing at the bottom, and then we've got our mountain mint, which grows taller, And this is all gone to seed now. It's wet, so it's not really that easy to break open, but. And then there's the chocolate mint down there in that area. We've got a nice little, another healthy section of Korean and anise hyssop. There's a bit of annual peppers right here. Some gomphrena that we hang up to dry to make some pretty dried bouquets. And then another row of hyssops and bee balm. If you look right here, we got a volunteer potato from a potato I guess I didn't get in the summer. So once the frost comes and that kills it off, I'll come in there and I'll dig up and get probably a few new potatoes out of there just in time for Thanksgiving. This is perennial kale, which I'm trialing out. I got a packet of seeds from someone that, you know, was breeding some perennial kale, and I thought that was really cool because I'm trying to do no-till in the food forest, but I would also love to have, you know, some kale and some cabbages and things like that. So this is an exciting prospect for me. It's perennial, so it's going to keep growing, and then the timing will become right at some point to we'll get some good harvest off of that. And then behind me, this is one of the first things that I planted out here. I moved all these from my old farm in Conyers. This is I got a row of bronze fennel, and then a row of Mexican tarragon, and on the other side a row of lemon balm. And so I've been picking off of this for 3 years already, and we just did a video on picking the bronze fennel seed and how awesome and aromatic it is, and how it's also available on our website for $24.99 for a nice jar of it. And it's hand harvested, so it does take some time. So you're getting a really good product with a lot of love and history put into it. In fact, you know, it's one of the ancient unspoken ingredients in the perfumery world and in the ice cream world. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Also in cigarettes. Marlboro Reds have a bit of licorice in them. Oh, what do we have here? Hello, we got some guests in the food forest. We've got some guests in here. They love it in here. I love it in here. It's a great place to bring your friends, your family, your neighbors. This is gomphrena. It's an amaranth. It's a globe amaranth. You know, amaranths are all edible and stuff, but this one is just crap. You know, if you eat it, it's just chewing on, you know, feathers or something like that. And then there's a bit of scarlet frills, just a volunteer. You know, we got seeds floating around everywhere in the food-producing food forest. And that's one of the best parts about it is you never know what you're gonna get. You know, sometimes you get real fired up out here when I walk around and I find stuff, which we'll keep talking about. Bronze fennel. So that was a seed, boom, blew over here, buried itself, and now we've got another bronze fennel plant. It's gonna last for years and years. Food producing food forest part 2. Brings me to scabiosa. It's a perennial flower, very pretty, edible, in the honeysuckle family. So when you see it on a menu, it might say honeysuckle flowers instead of scabiosa, which sounds like a venereal disease. African blue basil still holding on strong. That is an annual. I mean, it's technically a perennial basil, but because we get frosts here, it's grown as an annual. But you know, in a different environment, this thing could grow into a tree, a dadgum tree, a biggin. Could you imagine a biggin African blue basil outside of your front door? Whoa, crazy. Down here we got a bit of wormwood. From the wormwood is another artemisia, like mugwort and sweet Annie, hailing from the Alps. And if you happen to be in the Atlanta area, V's in Atlanta is a wonderful alpine restaurant helmed by Chef Carl Gorline, a true legend. And you can get your reservations in on resi.com. That is a V's ATL. So wormwood is a very bitter herb, classic ingredient in absinthe. So we also put that in our absinthe tea, which is available to order online, our-apothecary.com. And it's in our absinthe tea, which you can get in the sample packs by itself or in an entire 1 pound bag for $120. This is the best tea that you can buy not necessarily the absinthe, but all of my teas, I'm saying, are the best teas that you can buy. They're incredible. They're grown in a mineral-rich clay soil. They're dried at optimal times. They're harvested at optimal times to achieve the best drying and with the most flavors intact. The most natural oils are still in there. The most impactful components of that plant is still embodied within those dried leaves. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, get your hands on some of this tea and you will not regret it. And I would also suggest that you buy some for your friends and your family and your neighbors, even your enemies, you know, because we want them to have that tea so they become better people. So we spread a lot of hay out here. This bottom side of the food forest is more immature. I don't have as many fruit trees and stuff in here, but we're still plugging away and adding in more perennials. You know, just randomly, there's a lemon balm grown right here that was self-seeded. You know, so over time, we get more and more lush just naturally because of all these seed-bearing herbs that are just flooding this area with high-quality genetics. Tad bit of eggplant. Notice how much mulch is down here, how much hay mulch is down here. Tons and tons of it. Loads and loads. The soil is soft underneath it. Smells of glory. Got a nice bed of spearmint right here. I made these clones in the springtime and then put them in here and just rain down a bit of hay mulch all around it. Comes up and it's just, you know, it's become very dominant in this bed. There was a tad bit of grass in here earlier this year. That's died back and we pulled some of it out. And then hopefully we're going to do a bit of mulch in the wintertime on top of it. And in the springtime it'll really push through. Because spearmint's, you know, invincible when it comes to pushing up. Real thick, strong stems, and it loves to spread. Right behind the spearmint is a native white bee balm with seeds that I collected from this property on the pasture lawn. So I got the seeds. I started those seeds in our hoop house this spring and then planted them out here. And it's a perennial, so it'll keep growing. And, you know, I just wanted to bring in a little bit of really local pollinators onto this plot right here too. Pollinators that have been bred and seasoned out here in the great airs of Haralson County. The native white bee balm is really special too because it has a lot of antibacterial properties in there. So there's tons of ways to use that, but you know, most natural way is just to grab a handful of leaves, get some boiling water, make yourself a tea, and drink that, or you can let it cool down and use it to, you know, do a foot soak or something like that if you're having some bacterial issues somewhere. And we got a persimmon tree here that's almost lost its leaves and going dormant. Then underneath we got a bit of red vein sorrel. That's a perennial that just keeps coming back as well with these really pretty leaves. And it's got a nice lemony flavor like all the sorrels do. A tangy flavor. Maybe lemony is the wrong word. And then we've got our strawberries coming back. We're growing those as perennials. So we're just mulching them down, letting them grow. We get a nice crop in the spring and summertime next year. It's gonna be sweet. And then a bit of blueberries in there. You can't really tell because it looks like shit, but here's one. There's a little blueberry right there. And these raspberries have been fantastic. It's a thornless, I think they're loganberries actually, can't remember. But look at, they've been producing fruits since the springtime and they're still producing them now. It's like the 25th of November or something. I can come out here and Old Faithful, these vines always have a little snack for me to eat. And let me tell you something, sometimes I need a snack. You should come out here just to get some of those. I'm planning on buying like 500 to 1,000 more canes of that and just littering this place with those berries. And then we do have some blackberries here. that do have thorns, and they did not produce this year, hopefully next year. But I'm leaning heavily on these red berries, these thornless champagne raspberries. Back here we got a bit of marjoram. Right through here. Marjoram does clone well and easily too, so you can multiply that crop without spending a ton of cash. Super lucky to be within this food forest all the time, to harvest these herbs for our chefs in Atlanta, and to sell these herbs and flowers and produce to our loyal farmers market customers in the metro Atlanta area. And I just feel super fortunate to be within a thriving community that's led by love and seduction. Amen.